So to create an introduction, the first thing we want to do is make room for it. So I'm going to click and drag across all of these regions, and I like to do 8-bar introductions. So I'm going to slide this over so these first 8 bars are open. Now I just discussed in an earlier video that one of the ways you can start a song off is by like maybe just starting with a drum beat and then going back and adding a bass line to it. We don't really actually need to do that in Logic unless you just want to hear how it goes, because we can program that way in EarSketch. But I would recommend that you go over to the loop library, and in the loop library click on sound effects, and there are a lot of different sound effects that you can use that can do some kind of cool things for your introduction. And I've already marked several for me. So to go through some of these sound effects, like that's this boomer I kind of like, so I'm going to drag it over and drop it. And then let me see, I kind of like this. That's just like a sample sound, so I'm going to put that over. And that's kind of an interesting sound, so I'm going to put that over there. And why not? We'll add that one too. Okay, so what I'm going to do from here is actually I'm going to take this boomer and I'm going to shorten this up to just 2 bars because I don't need the whole thing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start exporting some of these into my folder that I'm going to use for my introduction. So to do that, I'm going to click on the region I want to export, and then I'm going to hold the Command key and type the letter B, Command B. I want to make sure that I have MP3 selected. Let me stop for a second. Also, make sure your cycle bar is turned off. That'll make this quicker. No cycle bar. So again, click on the region, Command B. I want an MP3, and then click OK. And it's important as you start exporting these sounds that you give it a name that you're going to recognize later. So I'm just going to call this Boomer 1. There it is, final project file. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to bounce Boomer 1 over there. Now this frenzy, actually I don't want that repetition of that sound. I just want the first part of the sound. So I'm going to grab the bottom edge and kind of trim this up to get rid of all of the, or as much of the silence as I can. I'm going to zoom in, which will help. Okay, so from there, again, Command B. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to call this Frenzy Vocal, Final Project Files, Bounce. So this one kind of has this empty silence in the middle, but I like this sound at the end. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to put the playhead in the middle, and I'm going to click, and the next thing I'm going to do is hold down the Command key and type the letter T, Command T. And what that does, that's a command called split region. So now let's cut this into 2 parts. So I'm now going to shrink this first one and Command B. Okay, I'm going to give this a name. Call this DWN Vocal 1, and I'm going to bounce. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. And with that one highlighted, Command B. And I'm going to call this one DWN Vocal Rise, because it kind of rises at the end. I'm going to bounce that. Now with this last one, I'm going to I think I just want the sound at the beginning. Now this one's also called downward vocal. So I click on it, Command B, and I'm going to call this DWN Vocal 2 and save it into my files. Okay. So if you go to your desktop and you find that folder and you double click on the folder, you should have all these as just short little samples or files that you can upload into EarSketch, and we'll do that on the next video.